There you
Yay.
go.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 1st. It's at 5:02. We're a little late starting. We had some technical issues. We are at the Lee Middle and High School Library. We are continuing to be in a virtual meeting room for Governor Baker's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, Chapter 30A, Section 20. This meeting will take place in a hybrid fashion, both virtually via Zoom or in person for those committee members and attendees choosing to access in either manner. I would like to call this meeting to order pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 20. I am hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. Please join me. We don't have any little guys.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission statement of Lee Public Schools is to ensure students have the opportunities to develop the social, civil, and critical thinking skills to thrive in an ever-changing world. Brenda, can you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Robin,
Here.
Ms. Cooper,
Here.
Ms. Kushurick. Here. Mr. Langlois,
Here.
Ms. Larman,
Here.
Mr. Nichols,
Here.
Ms. Strickler. Here.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have our FY26 public budget hearing presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Larman. This is nothing new that we've seen that I'm presenting tonight. It's been a long experience. We started this budget process informally as early as the beginning of October of 24. More formally, actually, I should say informally, back to June of last year, and then much more formally starting in November. We've got, I've spent the year at LES, and I've learned very much the importance of the 3 R's. These R's are a little bit different than they are at LES, but this budget, I believe, is reasonable, responsive, and respectful. It is not perfect. The perfect budget would be one that satisfied every single one of our needs in every way imaginable. However, I think that it does accomplish some tasks that we needed to, again, in being reasonable, responsible, responsive, and respectful. The areas of focus that drive our budget are no different than any other year. They are driven by our strategic improvement plan that has 4 core areas of curriculum, wellness, technology, and district organization. That plan will expire at the end of this calendar year in 2025. This strategic improvement plan subcommittee has had 1 meeting, future meetings scheduled. Allow me to let this person in. So we're going to be working on that over the next 8 months, and certainly seeking public input into areas that they believe to be important for our consideration. Some historical context for our budget. You can see in front of you back to FY19 through last year. We've ranged anywhere from 2% to 4.99%. All of those numbers, unfortunately, if you would, are lower than what our number is for this year, which comes in at 5.99%, but I'll talk about that some more in just a couple of moments. There are some major factors that affect our budget. Special education costs with some placements still to be determined. The increased access to vocational education. We have a responsibility to make sure that students who want to access vocational education are able to do that, and that we support them programmatically and fiscally. And so the added students who are attending Taconic and other Voc schools does come with an expense. There are some, I put it in quotation, highlights, because they aren't necessarily highlights, but I didn't want to say highlights and lowlights. I want to be positive about this budget. It is a mostly level service with notable reductions. There are 2 staff members whose jobs will not be maintained in this process. There also is loss of 6 periods and other things that we've done to try to accommodate the evolving needs of our students as they progress from pre-K to 12. We cut almost $220,000 since the last iteration of the budget that we presented to you and working with the town's finance committee. But again, we were able to do that without having too much of a negative impact on students. The current increase again over last year is 5.99%, and that does again reflect out of district special education expenses and voc ed expenses. Our per pupil expenditure comparisons to our surrounding districts, again, something that I've shared with you in the past. We are pretty much middle of the pack in terms of where we rank, but we could always do better, and we'll continue to strive to do better as time goes on. But we are putting forth a pretty fair amount of money toward our students each and every day. And then this is the big picture. So you'll see, and if it's okay, I'll just come up a little bit. You'll see where the major increases are. You see voc ed at 55%. This is a bit deceiving, the 13.43% at my office. Please, everyone know that's not a raise. There are some others in 11% here in special education. You'll notice too, we increased how much money we're leveraging from school choice. I've advised the committee previously. This is our tipping point, $900,000. If we had to go beyond that and access more school choice funds on an annual basis, we're going to put ourselves in a position where we will be losing ground with our school choice monies, and it will no longer be that reserve that it's intended to be. Huge increase in the amount of circuit breaker that we intend to apply. SPED revolving, we're down a little bit there. We're able to do that. And then again, grant totals are down. These are things that are out of our control, but we did the best that we could with what we had. So that's the long and the short. You'll notice too at the bottom, I guess there has been historically the last few years some questions as to why we're not putting $125,000 against SPED reserve, and that's because those are emergency funds. Those are for unanticipated costs, not anticipated costs that serve as an offset to our budget. So the town still does have an account for us if we ever needed to access it with $250,000 should we have some extraordinary expenses related to special education services in any given year. That's it in a nutshell. I didn't want to over share information because we have gone over this so many times. But I am here and happy to answer any questions, address any comments or concerns that are had. And so you've got public input immediately following this, so I see hands going up. We'll entertain those in a few once this is paused.
Does anybody have any questions for Mike about the budget that's on the committee?
It'll be during public input.
I just want to say I know how difficult and challenging this has all been, so thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you all around. It's been
I've said to the committee before, this is the most, in my 11 years, this is the most difficult budget that I've had to work with.
We need a motion.
All right. I motion to accept a projected FY26 budget in the total amount of $13,386,047 to be offset by up to $900,000 in school choice funds, up to $222,240 in circuit breaker, up to $75,000 in SPED revolving, and up to $339,500 in grants, with a grand total of request the town of Lee of $11,849,307.
second.
Any discussion?
Mike, I don't want to overstep, and so Dr. Larman put me back in my lane if I'm not in my lane. But this is something that I think you will be voting on later in the in the agenda.
Just
That,
discussing.
that's the reason why
That's
this
fine.
is before public input. So in
Alright.
the event that anyone in the
Okay.
audience has to share. So again, I'm sorry, but
That's
I
okay.
didn't want to get out too far ahead.
Well, we can.
I withdraw my motion.
Thanks,
Andrea.
You're welcome.
It's my last meeting, I can make as many mistakes as I want.
All right, next up, we got public input with Nicole.
Individuals are invited to address the committee regarding items on the CB's agenda at this time. Per policy, speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Issues raised will normally be referred to the administration or a subcommittee of the school committee. Start with any in-person.
Sorry.
Sure.
Hi, I'm Nikki Choquette. I am part of the CPAC group that we are trying to start back.
We actually have you on the
You're on
agenda,
the
so
agenda.
that's you next.
We love the excitement though.
You got your own.
I do, I'm so excited.
Anyone else for public? Sure, come on up.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I have 2 kids that go to the elementary school, and I understand we're cutting 2 positions going forward. One being a first grade teacher and one being a second grade teacher. Is that accurate?
No, it'll be first grade and fourth grade.
First grade and fourth grade. Okay. And the reason we're getting rid of a fourth grade teacher?
So we had to make difficult budget decisions. And so we looked to the classes that had the lowest enrollment, and those were the places where we could cut, where we knew that the class enrollment was lower than another class.
Okay, so by that, what does that mean for each student in the class? Like how many kids would be in the class?
So homerooms will have about 20 students, but that'll be homeroom only. We are finishing up, working on our new schedule for next year. So those classes will still have 3 sections of specialist attention. So it's only homerooms that are large.
With the hopes that as grades start to move up, if there's more kids, we'll gain a teacher there? Is that how that works?
Hopes, yes. Yeah,
Okay, and there will be 3 teachers in second grade next year.
correct.
Amanda, I have 1 child in me right now, and hopefully going to second grade. So my concern is just there's a lot of kids that are already not meeting benchmarks, and then we're cutting positions, so we're losing, you know, valuable things. I also was here a few months back, pushing for a full day pre-K, you know, to try to get the enrollment up. I know that obviously is not happening as well. My daughter will stay at St. Paul's, but in the meantime, you know, we're really trying to see like, what are other ways that we can do to, you know, keep the teachers, and we have some really great teachers that we're gonna lose. And, you know, how are we gonna keep teachers come to this district in the future? You know, so if there's ever, you know, more money coming later, who's gonna wanna say like, hey, like, I'll go to Lee, like, you know. So those are just my concerns that I wanna make sure that the kids have the backing.
Every effort will be made, if it's okay if I comment, every effort will be made to continue to make sure the students get at least the amount of services that they've received in the past when we move forward. And I think we will be able to achieve that with the newly designed schedule that will go into effect in the fall.
Thank you both. Anyone else?
Oh, please. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Claudia King-Ellen. I have a son in the elementary school too. My main concern is having 20 students, even in homeroom. It's a lot, especially if you don't have 3 teachers or however many teachers you have in that sector. Because even me being in college at the moment, we don't have 20 students. We have maybe 10 to 4 kids in the class. So if that's even adults trying to learn, I don't know how children will learn with that.
Your sentiments are heard, for sure, and eliminating positions is the last thing we want to do. Unfortunately, to get to the 5.99%, the only way to get there was with salary reduction.
Hi, my name is Sherry, and I'm just curious now, with losing a position, how many children will be in each classroom in first, second, third? What do you anticipate?
So again, the homeroom numbers are larger. Those are short-term placements, right? So it's homeroom might have 20 kids in them. But when they get spread out into their math, their ELA, their social studies, their science, those numbers should be reduced by about a third. So we should be looking at about 13 or 14 students in each of those classrooms.
Well, in a grade like second grade, where they're
Same,
together.
this is what I'm saying, right?
So how much time, I'm sorry, is a homeroom for second grader versus breaking out into?
Wait 1 moment.
You have a ballpark number, Mike?
It's a small, I mean, it's right, so I just literally.
I believe it's 15 minutes. And then
Even less than that. So it's, you're talking, you're talking about 10 to 15 minutes.
I
and
don't
no
want
more.
to tax you, brain tear, appreciate.
That's
it.
okay. I was trying to give you, based on the new schedule, exactly what that number was.
Okay, so there's the new schedule. I'm also I'm a grandparent. My children have gone through the school system. I have 2 grandchildren in Lee Elementary, and I'm a former educator. My concern is number 1, class size, and especially for the younger grades. And number 2, once you lose a teacher, ever getting it back is almost impossible from what I've seen in the school district that I worked in, which was Central Berkshire. And if that were to happen, if class sizes get too large, then you have students, I mean, we're concerned about out of school, having school choice and all the funds that costs and all the special education funds that we have to pay from our district, and I pay taxes in Lee. It seems to me that those will get larger if you have larger classrooms. So I'd like to see smaller classrooms so you have less out of school expenditures. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Okay, anyone on Zoom?
Mr. Hall, are you good?
Okay, we will have a short recess. And then we will reconvene to go through the rest of our agenda. So I'm saying like 2 minutes. That enough for everybody?
Yeah, you need to take a vote on it.
Oh, we gotta vote. We gotta vote on it.
Motion to adjourn, I'm sorry, motion to recess for 2 minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us into recess?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Kesherick?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Strickler?
Yeah. Can you roll call us back in, Brenda?
Sure. Mr. Robin?
Here.
Ms. Cooper?
Here.
Ms. Kesherick?
Here.
Mr. Langwa?
Here.
Ms. Larmen?
Here.
Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Strickler?
Here. All right, welcome back, everybody. Next up is approval of the March 11th, 2025 Lee School Committee meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the March 11th, 2025 Lee School Committee meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Any discussion? You roll call us, Brent?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Kesherick?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes. Okay, next up, we have a presentation. Now.
I'm Nikki Choquette again. Hi, everybody. So I'm a parent of a child with special needs, so we wanted to get our CPAC group started back up again. Cause it's been
Since before COVID.
Yeah, before COVID, since we've had it. So we just started, we've had 2 meetings. And we just want to get parents involved, see what they want from us to help them. We did plan, a meet and greet, a safety meet and greet. I don't know if you guys want this.
We got it. Thank you.
this is our first activity that we're planning, and it's May 1st. So our next meeting is April 29th, and prior to the meeting, we're going to send out a survey to see what parents would want. If they want speakers, they want activities. I mean, I have a son that's older, so he's in high school, whereas somebody else could have, I know, could have, you know, somebody in 3rd grade, so our needs would be different, so we would want different things. So we just want to get like an opinion of what parents want and what we can do to help them. And that's pretty much it.
Anybody have any questions for Nikki?
They're gonna be forwarding the information and I'll do a blast out to
Yeah.
everybody in the district.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask how.
That was
Yes,
gonna be
yes,
my question,
okay.
was gonna be when and where on the 1st, but you're gonna
Yes,
send that.
yes, I
information
have
out.
this and we're gonna print them out and
Yeah.
Jen's gonna send them out and
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that own businesses around town that are going to put these up
Perfect.
for them. And we
Yeah.
do, this time, the first year, we didn't have a sensory hour. So like no sirens could go or anything, and a siren was blown accidentally, and some kids had a real problem with that, and this is why we need this.
Yeah.
So we do have a sensory friendly hour, the first hour this year. Cause we've learned,
You wanna just say where it is? It's gonna be here from
It's-
5 to 7.
it's
correct?
gonna be here from 5 to 7. The first hour is sensory quiet hour, which, I mean, anybody can come, but we want those parents of kids that do have sensory issues to feel comfortable to bring their children. And, the police, the fire and the ambulance people are all so amazing in helping us coordinate this. Anything else? Anything?
I think it's great.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's fabulous and I appreciate you taking this on.
Oh, okay, well, you're welcome. I'm not the president, by the way.
Oh, okay, I thought you were, okay.
No, I'm just the secretary.
Oh.
Our co-presidents have other things going on right now, so
Got it.
I'm here. But I will always help.
Thank you to all of the.
Yeah, I will always help if you ever have any questions, because
I think it's great.
that's what we do as parents. We stick
Help each other
together,
out.
help each
Yep.
other.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, next up is our superintendent's update.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. Quick, school enrollment as of the 1st, that's yesterday, or today, I'm sorry, that's today, whoa. Joke.
Just
April
April Fools.
Fools. There you go, all right. Anyway, we're at 632 students. We've hovered right around that number all year long. You can see the number of outplaced tuition and school choice students, and we'll be talking about school choice a little bit later on in the meeting. MCAS testing began last week at LMHS, begins next week at LES on, it's gonna be Monday to Thursday next week. The test dates are set, and I appreciate all the work that the staff have been doing in both schools to get students prepared, excited, and ready for their assessments. School choice, here is my recommendation, and again, we can talk about this later, is that we basically remove the cap in most grades with the limited exception in grade 1 to open 5 slots, grade 4 to open 2 slots, and grade 8 to open 3 slots. Feel like everywhere else, we can continue to absorb students without sacrificing quality of education. Vaping concerns amongst youth. Probably something I should have talked about a long time ago, but became really important in the last week. We are finding younger and younger students vaping, bringing those devices to school, being recorded using those devices, vape devices outside of school hours. It has required a lot of work by a lot of people, staff and administration, adjustment counselors, whatnot, conversations with students. And I'm just leaving the screen up while I talk to you so that people at home will be able to see it, and anyone in the audience, but it's a tremendous danger. The experimentation that's happening among students, and I can tell you from so far from experience, as young as 4th grade, probably younger, that just hasn't made its way to my office yet, but it's very, very concerning. And so this is a message to our community that we need to work together to stem the tide of vaping because it is going to have significant negative impacts on the health and the wellness of our students as they get older and they mature. So just a sort of a word of caution. We did consider the idea of putting in vape sensors at the elementary school. I just don't know that the cost and the benefit, if you would, is going to be realized as conversations with Principal Briganti down here. Students are finding creative ways to circumvent those sensors. So the investment in the sensors at the elementary school, I don't know at this time is worth it, so much as more educational opportunities for families and students so they understand the dangers. Budget, not going to rehash what we just talked about a few minutes ago, but that's just a quick review of where we were. The last day of school is still June 16th, and we hope to keep it there. If we don't have a repeat of last year, then we should be good. And then quick thank you. It's Andrea and Betsy's final meeting with us in the Lee School Committee, and I know I speak for everybody when we say thank you for everything that you've done, for the questions you've asked, for the guidance you've offered, and the best interests of students and staff always at the forefront of any decisions that all of you make. So thank you. And from the committee, a couple of little gifts for you. This is Betsy, it's the heavy one. It's not picking your head. There you go. But much more important is that second comment down there that says, if anyone knows someone who's interested, my last check with Town Hall was nobody turned papers in. So there will be 2 vacant seats. I'm looking out into the audience to see people who might be interested. There are 2 vacant seats. Nomination papers are due to the clerk's office by the 7th of April. So you've got 6 days.
Yes.
You can do it.
You can.
Yeah, you can do it. Whoever you might be, you can do it. So.
I like to say, not only can you do it, we need you.
Right.
All right, thank you. All right,
LES.
next up, LES.
Quarter 3 grades closed last week. Report cards will go out on Friday. Kindergarten open house was held on the 19th. Registration is scheduled for the 30th. Pre-K screening will take place on 2 days, April 29th and May 1st. I'm sorry, Jen, if I stole that from your report. School council meeting on the 8th. There's a PTO meeting tomorrow night. The walk to school event that was originally scheduled for next Thursday got moved out 1 more week, so as to avoid any conflict with MCAS. We didn't want anybody to show up too exhausted, although some good healthy walking will assist you in your production of positive energies around test taking. The robotics team, congratulations to them. They finished 2nd out of 27 teams in a program a couple of weeks ago. Great work by that team. They won the best programming award and they took 3rd place for the project award. So that's pretty outstanding. And this morning, we were joined by a group from the Susan B. Anthony Birthplace Museum in Adams. They did a nice presentation that was funded through an application that museum did with Berkshire Taconic, and so we were able to award them some money. So they came down free of charge, did a really nice presentation for some of our students who were remarkably engaged with the Susan B. Anthony impersonator. It was really, really cool. So that was fun. It was exciting, and I think the kids really enjoyed it.
Anybody have any questions for Mike? I'm assuming you're done.
I am.
Anybody have any questions for Mike? All right, Greg's not here.
Greg's not here, but I
He's
have.
home getting himself well.
Yeah, he is. And I
Mike's
do.
gonna do his presentation.
I do wish him the best. It's very extraordinary for Greg to miss a meeting, especially if this important. So he says, keeping it short, and I will do that. Spring sports games started this week with the weather cooperating so far. Senior English classes went on a field trip to New York City last Thursday to see the Great Gatsby. Everything I heard about the trip, from the bus driver being amazing to the show being tremendous. So very, very positive experience, I think, for the seniors. Grade 10 MCAS ELA is now over. ELA for grades 7 and 8 will start the week before break. Math, science, and civics will follow after break. The scheduling process for next year started today with students currently in grades 7 through 11 getting information and sign-up sheets. The middle school spaghetti supper, I hope Greg is well for this, is Thursday from 5 to 7. It's an annual fundraiser that helps pay for middle school field trips. This weekend, the high school band will be heading to Philadelphia for a clinic and a concert. That's a trip that this committee approved about a year ago. Next Wednesday, the LMHS will be hosting the United States Air Force Rock Band to give a concert for our students. And then the annual career fair for LMHS will be on Thursday, April 17th. And I'd love to answer questions, but I'm not sure that.
No, it's okay. We're gonna move on to Jen. Special ed.
So Mike did mention, some of the things I had on here as far as the preschool registration on April 29th and May 1st. The other pieces is that any students that are going to be invited to special education summer programming based on their needs through their IEP, those letters will be coming out in the next 2 weeks. So parents can keep an eye out for those, and it'll have specifics about who the staff is gonna be and how you can indicate if you need transportation and all of that. So those letters are being prepared now. Nikki Choquette did also say that they are going to be sending out a survey, so I'll be sending out a blast to everyone in the district with information about our meet and greet with the emergency responders, as well as a link to the survey for the Special Education Parent Advisory Council. If you have anything that you'd like to add, it's wonderful to have an active advisory council again. I think, and also we have posted for summer positions for those special education students that will require some programming, and we definitely have some paraprofessional and transportation related positions open. So if anybody's interested, you can reach out to Brenda in the superintendent's office or myself, and we will respond.
Questions for Jen? All right, Jeff, your turn.
Okay. There wasn't a lot of excitement in facilities last month, which is usually a good thing. We filed a statement of interest for both roofs with the MSBA a week before the deadline. And World Energy was in and they did some preliminary planning for the energy efficient upgrades we're doing this summer.
That's it?
And that's it.
That was
I
short.
could add, if we could, we also are exploring the possibility of installation of EV charging stations.
Yes.
That would be at zero cost to us.
Okay.
The issue is finding the right place to pull the power and not damaging any work that may be scheduled to be done with asphalt or concrete work. But we are in the process of at least exploring it.
Any questions for Jeff? All right, moving on to our committee reports. First up, Finance Committee.
We met earlier prior to this meeting and we discussed warrants. Mr. Jensen.
We've had 2 accounts payable warrants since our last meeting. The first one totaled $157,811.95. And the top vendors for that warrant are Dufour, Eversource, and Trafera. And the second warrant totaled $216,247.20. And the top vendors for that warrant are Dufour, Gateway Regional School District, and Monitor Equipment. The total of the 2 warrants is $374,059.15.
And we did vote to approve this warrant.
Okay, I will entertain a motion for the warrants.
I'll make a motion to approve the warrants, total amount of $374,059.15.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us, please?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Keshar?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes.
And the payroll warrant totals since our last meeting is $731,225.69.
We did vote to approve this one.
I will entertain a motion for the payroll.
I motion that we accept the payroll payment of $731,225.89.
69.
69 cents, sorry, man.
Second. Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
Ms. Strickler?
Yes. Okay. Next up, we have old business contracts for the Lee School Committee approval.
So this was tabled to this meeting from the last, with the opportunity for the committee to further examine or have an opportunity to fully examine all the contracts. I did provide the committee with a summary of the changes in the contracts. The negotiations subcommittee voted to approve these contracts, these 5 contracts as proposed, and I support that. It was, it's always a difficult process, but there was a lot of cooperation on both sides of the aisle, if you would, between the school committee and the various bargaining units. So I don't know if you have questions, but again, I think that for the most part, that summary sheet should speak pretty well for itself.
We need to vote on each one, right? Separately.
You probably should do each one individually.
Yes, please. Thank you, darling. Aaron to the rescue. Okay, so the first one we have is Unit A contract. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Unit A.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes. All right, next up, we have Unit C. Anybody like to make a motion for Unit C contract?
I motion we accept Unit C contract.
Second.
Any discussion? Brenda?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
Ms. Strickler?
Yes. All right, next up, we have our cafeteria workers contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the cafeteria workers contract.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Bless you.
Bless you. Thank you. Brenda, can you roll call us, please?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes. Next up, we have our custodial employees contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the custodial employees contract.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Bren.
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes. Next up, we have grounds and maintenance contract.
I'll make a motion to approve the grounds and maintenance contract.
I'll second.
Then do it.
Any discussion?
It's a little harsh.
Brenda, can you roll call us, please?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Abstain.
And Ms. Strickler?
Yes. And last up, we have our secretary.
I motion to accept the secretary's contract.
I will second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us?
Mr. Robin?
Yes.
Ms. Cooper?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Langwa?
Yes.
Ms. Larmen?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Abstain.
and Ms. Strickler.
Yes. All right, thank you, everybody. Especially our motioners. Next up, we have new business. First up is the approval of our FY26 budget.
I motion to approve the projected fiscal year 26 budget in the total amount of $13,386,047, being offset by up to $900,000 of school choice, $222,240 of circuit breaker, up to $75,000 of sped revolving, up to $339,500 of grants, for a total request of the town of Lee, $11,849,307.
Second. Any discussion? Brenda, can you roll call us, please?
Mr. Robin,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Ms. Keshurk,
Yes.
Mr. Langwa,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes. All right, next up, we have school choice.
So, my recommendation, to the committee, would be that we, remove the cap on all grades with the exception of 3 grades. That's grade 1 for 5 slots, grade 4 for 2 slots, and grade 8 for 3 slots.
I will accept a motion regarding school choice, removing of the cap. Except for grade 1, 4, and 8.
I move to accept the school choice motion with those 3 grade caps. There's unlimited cap.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just curious, the numbers because of the incoming classes and teacher size and all of that, is that?
That's why with the smaller, that's correct.
Any other discussion?
The finance committee told us, the town finance committee told us, that we need to put students in seats. I guess I get. I mean, we received pretty substantial pressure from the town finance committee for a budget. And I mean, this is an opportunity to increase those classes, increase enrollment in the schools. And I recognize that right now we're budgeted -2 positions. But is this an opportunity? Let's say that miraculously there's 15 kids in one of these targeted grades that we're reducing staff. And we can bring them in. Town finance committee has told us to increase enrollment. I mean, I think actually the direct quote is either to increase enrollment or reduce the budget. So we'd be honoring their request by trying to bring in more students. I get the fact that if we bring in we hit a tipping point of bringing in 6 kids in one of those classes, and now we have homerooms of 22, 23 apiece. It's not enough to stand up a 3rd grade, a 3rd section necessarily. I get that.
So, from this, and I appreciate that question. I think that, so from the state perspective, all they need me to do is be able to tell them whether we are participating in school choice and at what grade levels.
Right.
They don't need to know numbers. So if we happen to get 7 applications for grade 1, for instance, and you've capped it at 5, I could come back to the committee and ask you to reconsider whether you want to change that number to accommodate the extras, or whether you want to participate in a lottery for those 5 slots.
Gotcha.
So
We have done that before.
Yeah, and why don't my personal opinion is that we stick with that way that we've been doing it, because I don't feel comfortable right now saying, let everybody in when we just voted to approve a budget that cut 3 teachers. And for me, that was the hardest vote that I've done in 4 years on this. The absolute hardest. And you should know that in my heart, I didn't want to do it because my son is actually in the grade that would go down to 2 teachers. But my mind tells me that there's no other way. So I would just like to leave the school of choice, the 1, 4, 8 for right now, and take it as we come. My opinion, we don't want to overload these teachers right now when we just did this.
right, we don't, so we will announce, whatever the committee decides, we will announce that there are open slots at all grades. We don't necessarily have to say that there are only 5 seats available in grade 1.
Right.
and we'll see what we get for applications. It's very, very rare to get a large number in any one grade, but I think the removing of the cap for the most part at least says we're open. Doors are open, come on in.
I appreciate that you put the thought into it and that you would bring it back to the school committee if we do get the awesome, problem that might cause, but I also, hearing the parents and grandparents in the community just talk about, the needs of the students, which we know, and how, we have a lot of angst about this budget this year and negotiations and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that, to me, it's like, this is one of the hardest decisions, like, to me, in terms of budgets, like last year we had options, this year we have no option. We had something that came this way. Like, I don't feel good about cutting positions, because I was one of those teachers, the year before last year got cut due to budget restraints, the year before that, so I understand that, and my heart goes out that way. But also, this is the budget we have, and sometimes the reality is that we gotta go with what we have. And if we need to put some kids in the seats to get where we need to be for our staffing, then go in that direction too. So, like I said, it wasn't easy for me. It's been like 3 nights in sleep trying to figure this out.
It's been 5 months. Some
Yeah.
Mike, just, this is not asking, that's probably not a fair apples to apples comparison or really a question, but if we were to think of school choice per grade, right? Like how many school choice students would we need to bring in to pay for one of those teacher roles?
They get $5,000 per student.
I know.
So you're looking at 12 or 13 kids
to get back to
cover one staff member.
Thank you. And I know it's not like we don't think that way.
Correct.
But in terms of this conversation, just as we think about open enrollment, like what it takes to get back to that.
We still are annually, since I've been here, we are net positive in terms of the numbers of students who are coming in versus those who are going out. I'd like to continue to increase that differential so that we have many more students coming in than we do lose them to.
I think that's a huge testament to the teaching and the faculty and the things that happen in walls and sports teams.
That also would increase I know we've done this before advertising. Are we gonna go back to that, or I don't know?
Yeah, we'll continue, sort of that budget number is low as far as what we've got available to us for advertising, but we will explore social media a little bit more.
I do remember that billboard when I was coming home, so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was nice of Lennox. Very kind of them.
Any other discussion? I thank you all for your thoughtful comments and concerns. Brenda, can we do a roll call, please?
I don't think a motion was made. Was it?
Yeah, there were,
Yeah.
Betsy made the motion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mr. Robin,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Ms. Sherrick,
Yes.
Ms. Langwell,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Strickler.
Yes. Okay, next up is the May Lee School Committee meeting. So as I warned you all last year, when you insisted on me continuing to be the chair, you all have to meet immediately after the election to vote a new chair, because that chair has to sign diplomas for Greg and should be attending the graduation ceremony on the 7th of June. The elections are on the 12th, on Monday night, the 12th, and your school committee meeting, your next school committee meeting is that Tuesday. Right now, as we've talked about earlier, nobody is running. So it's just the 5 of you that will still be, unless anybody is running right to the town hall right now to take out papers.
Fine.
All right.
It's worth it.
So if nobody is A, written in, or B, runs, you're gonna have to do the same thing that we did for you and for Craig and for Nicole and for Kirk and for me. You're gonna have to advertise for the position and have somebody come in. So the decision you need to make is, Do you want to hold the meeting on the Tuesday after elections? Hope that somebody gets written in and accepts the nomination, which I will not be doing, so don't bother. And then goes down to get sworn in before our meeting, which, not ours, yours, I will not be here, before the meeting, which starts at 5 o'clock. So your question is, do you want to do that, or do you want to push the meeting off to the following week, which is the 20th? That will give time if somebody does get voted in, written in, and they accept the nomination to get themselves sworn in. In the past, it hasn't been an issue because our meetings were always at 7 o'clock. So people had time to get home from work, run down to get sworn in, and then show up to the meeting at 7 o'clock. Because we moved our meetings forward, which I think has been great for everybody. I think that's gonna make it really difficult for people to get from work to be sworn in to a meeting at 5 o'clock. So your two options are continue to have the meeting on the 12th and make sure you all show up, because if you don't all show up, there will not be a quorum.
Right.
Or hold off and have it on the 20th with the hope that somebody gets written in and has time to get sworn in, or one of these lovely people back here goes out and takes out nomination papers and is voted in.
Or has their family right.
Or has your family write them in, yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
So I have no stake in the game. My last commitment will be to show up to the town meeting on the 8th, which is at 7 o'clock, and I expect to see every one of you there. Everybody that is all the people that are staff on our school staff should be there if you are a resident of Lee, because it is a voter. We all vote. It's not like it used to be. And so the more people that we have there to vote for this budget, the higher the likelihood is that it will pass. And so I'm asking people, if you took the time to come tonight and the last 3 or 4 meetings, please take the time to show up to that meeting as well and say your piece. And I'm done. So you guys decide.
So, what I didn't have in my calendar,
Mhm.
that might make this decision a lot easier for all of you is, Hearingham Town Meeting is actually on the 13th, a Tuesday.
So Mike won't be here.
I won't be here and I cannot send a representative to that meeting this year.
Yeah.
So I will need to be in Tieringham, so I would be unavailable for the school committee meeting if you did it on the 15th.
Is anyone opposed to pushing the meeting later on in the week? Sorry, any of the 5 of us would still be here.
Yeah.
Opposed. No offense.
We have a strategic planning meeting scheduled on the 14th. Nothing right now, as far as I can tell, on the 15th.
Is the 15th a problem for anyone?
I have an appointment. I knew I was gonna be that person.
Friday afternoon is probably hard.
I would highly. That's not.
I'm sure the new members of the committee would love that.
I know what I'm saying. If you do it. you do it. I would say, okay.
Next week following, the week of the 19th, anyone have anything anywhere?
Hold on, let's see.
I mean, you don't have to do it on Tuesday. You can do it on Monday.
I could do it Monday or Tuesday. I will be in Marlboro Wednesday and Thursday of that week.
Monday or Tuesday, you want to have a
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Heidi, does Tuesday work for you?
Yeah, that
20th.
works for me. The only thing I have in my calendar, but I think it's at 7, is a special town meeting. Is that such a thing on the 20th?
Yes.
Maybe I wrote it in wrong. I don't know.
Oh, I think that's true.
No.
I think that's the one for the LY.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is.
Oh, okay. It's fine with me. The
Sounds
20th.
like our next, and it's not me and Betsy, will not be here. Your next meeting is gonna be May 20th at 5 o'clock. All right. Last item on our agenda is adjournment. Yes, oh, sorry, I forgot. See, it's because I didn't write it down. Betsy has more new business.
I do, and
But she did check with me, just so you know.
I did. So, approximately 5 days ago, the members of the school committee were sent a message, an email from the Massachusetts Education Advocacy Group. It is a new initiative coming from, not the state, but from people within the state complex. And they are basically working to find what are the needs of school districts, especially some of those rural and impacted by some of the funding. They would like information, including impact statements, finding ways that we need and use our funds, and perhaps find opportunities for future additional funding. So while I will not be a member of the school committee, I would highly recommend that one or two, as they say, active community members within the district be willing to help spread the word in the community, whether it's town media, social media, town meetings, etc. And start to network and find information out and share information. So knowing that we did have to make some difficult budget cuts, and knowing that the government administration has basically made some additional funding cuts to schools and rural school aid, I would highly recommend that this be something that the school committee looks at.
I think they're looking for a letter of support from the committee as well. You guys. All right. Back to the last item on the agenda. I will accept a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Brenda, can you do my last roll call out, please?
Mr. Robin,
Yes.
Ms. Cooper,
Yes.
Ms. DeShirk. Yes. Mr. Langwell,
Yes.
Ms. Larmen,
Yes,
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
and Ms. Strickland. Yes.
we are adjourned at 6 o'clock.
I should stop on my way out.
Are these signed?
It's gonna be.
Son. Be nice if it was-